more dusty roads. I'm Jeannie Ives, co-founder of Breakthrough Ideas. Find out more at breakthrough-ideas.com.
Looking to hire? Indeed will help you speed up the process. They have 135 skills tests to help you find the right candidates faster. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
7:37, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, and Jim.
Inbound Kennedy traffic is heavy from 190 to Montrose and Addison to the Burns Circle. It's now 45 minutes from O'Hare to downtown, 26 from Montrose, 13 of the express lanes. Outbound 26 minutes downtown to the airport. Those delays mainly past Montrose. Inbound Edens, 16 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 14. On the Eisenhower, 42 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 28. Stevenson heavy with delays, Harlem to Pulaski, 55 minutes from the Veterans Memorial Tollway to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 24. Bryan is 16 minutes, 95 to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, congested Irving Park to Balmoral after an earlier crash. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Clouds and sun today, another breezy one. Temperatures up near the record of 87. Set back in 1986. Will likely top out at 85. Cloudy, mild, couple of late night showers, and 57 overnight. 64 right now at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
From the Matrix Home Solutions studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
Mike Madigan runs the Democratic House floor for 30-plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when. You're moving out. I said, when you're moving out.
Before we get to our weekly installment with Ted Dabrowski, some sad news to report in Illinois, and that is that Marty Ozinga III, who is the chairman of the big Ozinga concrete concern, passed away unexpectedly. I got that message from my mutual friend, and Marty Ozinga was a great business guy, but he was a great guy, great human being, devout Christian, and ran for Congress, some may remember, against Debbie Halverson, and Illinois would have been a better place had he defeated Debbie Halverson back in the day. So just wanted to pass that along because it's an important Illinois and regional business and a great family, and he was a great guy. Got to know him a little bit over the years, and just a tremendous gentleman. So now Illinois is down to 17 congressional seats, and I say keep it up. Yeah. If we can get down to 0, then Illinois will have 0 impact on the Electoral College. And that's, I think, a goal we all share. Yes. Ted Dabrowski is the president of Wirepoints, wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. Ted, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy.
So some encouraging news from the census. We lost another congressional seat, and, the exodus is uninterrupted. It's only increasing in pace. And so, if you want to see Illinois not play a role in presidential elections, then we're going in the right direction.
Well, yeah, I think it's working like it should. If you have horrible policies, if you keep bankrupting your state and keep stripping away freedoms, then people leave, and that means you deserve to have less representation in the country. I think it's working exactly like it should in a place like Florida and Texas, where they support more growth, more freedom. They support their businesses. They're growing in representation, so it's working like it should.
Yeah, this is one form of redistribution I support because it's voluntary. So we're redistributing congressional seats away from New York and California and Michigan and Illinois and to Florida and Texas and North Carolina and Tennessee. That's the greatest market test, isn't it?
Well, it is, and I think people are walking with their feet, voting with their feet, and they're telling the rest of America this is what we want, or at least it shifts the power dynamics that way. And as you mentioned, Texas picks up two seats, Florida picks up one, Carolina picks up another. So it's I think in the right direction if you're looking for policies where you respect people, you respect businesses, and you don't want to grow your government to an incredible, crazy size.
So here in Illinois, since we're losing one congressional seat, do you think Governor Pritzker is going to honor his fair maps promise for redistricting?
No way. He made that promise a while back, but I think he's missing in action on that. I wouldn't expect any change there. So
they're moving to a June 30th map with supermajorities in both chambers. They're not going to have the commission for Democrats, for Republicans, and then if there's an impasse, you draw a name from Abraham Lincoln's hat to cast the deciding vote. They're not going to get there. They know better. This is
That's
always
right.
going to be a power play. So it's pay public homage to fair maps, and when you are in control, you vote your shares.
That's right. Hey, just one more point I want to make on the delegates.
Oh, yes.
They're going to paint this as good news, by the way, because the rumors were we were going to lose two delegates, and so we only lost one. So this is actually good news, and thank goodness.
Well, that's it. This is right. It's as expected. We lost one. Some doom and gloomers were talking about losing two. So everything's fine.
Yeah, they spin
Don't make,
it.
don't
Yep.
don't make a big deal about it. This is good. We're not as bad as you thought we were. That's some pitch.
Yeah, and I think what people need to remember, for those who aren't following, only 3 states lost population in the entire country, and Illinois was one of them. The other one was Michigan, which of course got destroyed by Detroit's bankruptcy and the flight that's gone on there. And the third one was West Virginia. So that's the crowd Illinois is with, and for those who continue to pursue a lot of these progressive tax hikes and things like that, it's not the right it's not the right policies. I think people are telling us that.
So Ted, I asked Dan this earlier. Who do you think is going to lose their congressional seat?
Well, that's a tough one. I don't know how they're going to do this. They're going to go after, I'm sure, Rodney Davis or Kinzinger, but I don't know how that's going to play out. Those politics are too big for me to figure that out.
Probably Mary Miller, but
yeah, Mary Miller.
Possible. So there's legislation kicking around Springfield that'll push more people out, so we don't lose our trajectory, and that is to strip local school districts and private schools of the ability to make their own decisions with respect to in-person versus remote versus hybrid if there's another pandemic, or if they decide to extend this pandemic even long past its sell-by date.
Yeah, this is the big centralization that's going on in all government, right? Whether it's at the national level when they try to federalize a lot of things by doling out the trillions that they're handing out. At this level here in Illinois, let's strip all our boards, let's strip all of our private schools, let's strip everybody from decision making and put it in a central source. And we've seen how bad that's been. I mean, if there's one lesson learned from COVID, is that the experts know nothing, and they've made so many mistakes. And I'm talking about all experts, right? They've all made mistakes, and so I think what you have to do is continue to leave decision making as local as possible, closest to the source where people can make the decisions that are best for their community. But this putting more power in IDPH, and COVID lockdowns that we've seen Pritzker manage, it's been frankly for me one of the biggest mistakes ever to allow a governor or anybody at the top to have this much power. Giving IDPH this much power over our kids is pretty much on target with that.
Yeah, because that means Dr. Nzike is going to be in charge, and she's a lockdown enthusiast.
And what do we do, right? I mean, if one person decides that, there's nothing. If you go the other way and you let school districts open up or not, if everybody wants to stay closed, they can be, but it's local.
Right.
But giving one person that much power, it's wrong.
Another fun piece of legislation kicking around. This brought to us from State Senator Steve Stadelman, who was a former local news anchor. Senate Bill 134 creates a local journalism task force to study areas underserved by local journalism in Illinois and review strategies to improve local news access and public policy solutions to develop more sustainable business models for local media outlets. I think this is great. I think finally, and we're flush with that funny money from D.C., I think we should formalize the relationship between the Illinois Political Press Corps and the government and have the government fund the press corps. Let's just, strip away the pretense and just have the state government decide what the business model for news outlets is going to be and fund them directly. Wouldn't that be easier?
Yeah, it'd be a lot easier. I mean, it already works that way for the big ones, right? They toe the line on everything. So we just need it to be at the local level. So no, that's scary too. But when you have again that much money flowing, and we were talking, we're going to get something like $25 billion from the federal government coming down to Illinois. They're going to have to work hard to spend that money, and it's a ton of money when you look at it on a per budget per year basis. So it will find its ways into things like that, and that's why they can run these crazy laws, because there might be money to fund it for a year or two.
Now, you and your colleague John Klingner wrote at wirepoints.org about some mayors not getting with the program, and maybe they need to be defunded if they're not going to be getting with the program at the state level. They're revolting against unfunded state mandates and the tax grab, the local tax grab by the state government.
Yeah, so Governor Pritzker wants to, keep working on his 2022 budget, and one of the ways he wants to fix it is to take $150 million that would go normally to cities, it's out of a bigger pool, and keep it for the state. And so it was good to see some mayors get together, a whole bunch of them, and they pushed back and they said, don't take our money. The math doesn't work anymore. We spoke to Highland Park Mayor Nancy Rotering, and she was willing to speak up and say, look, enough is enough. These unfunded mandates, the pension mandates, the collective bargaining mandates, they really handcuff local government's hands to do anything on budgets. Everything's mandated by the state, and now Pritzker wants to take money away. It's destructive, and places like Danville, which we wrote about, places like that can't afford to lose money and be told what to do by the by the state government all the time.
That's sad when a good Democrat socialist like Nancy Rotering can't get along with her Democrat socialists at the state level. Gosh, my heart bleeds for Mayor Rotering.
At some point, the math doesn't work for her either, right? She needs to fund what's important to her, things that we may not agree with. But once that money's being taken away, she suddenly doesn't like it. And fortunately, in this case, she's speaking up about something that's wrong. But there's a lot more. There's a lot more that needs to be fixed. So, continuing to try to update sort of the one silver lining in this government maelstrom called Illinois. The Illinois Tax Credit Scholarship Program that has been targeted for effective elimination by Pritzker. Any update on where that currently sits and whether or not maybe some of these Democrat legislators that represent majority-minority districts are hearing from the beneficiaries of the families who are beneficiaries of that scholarship program, that tax credit scholarship program, in terms of better educational options for their kids, and that pushback is moving some people, or at least considering moving some people to consider whether or not they want to throw in with Pritzker? Yeah, I need to get a pulse of that, but I can tell you there's a lot of people working it right now, and there's a lot of minority legislators who understand that a lot of their constituencies really like school choice. They like that they've gotten their kids this scholarship through the tax credit scholarship program, and have gotten out of the public schools. So there's a lot there. So I think the good news is that there's a good group of legislators who understand this, and minority legislators. Now the question is, there's a lot of politics involved, and what wins over, I don't know. But the power of these kids to be able to accept a scholarship and get out of some of the CPS performance schools that are performing so poorly is huge. So I have to get my pulse on that movement there.
So we have a governor's election in 2022. We've got a few candidates who've already announced, a few Republicans, Darren Bailey, Gary Rabine, Paul Schimpf. And I'm wondering if you've heard any good policy ideas from them so far, or if not, we know what the policy agenda is for Pritzker. What are policies you'd like to see one or more of those Republican aspirants for the governor's mansion advance?
Well, I always say, and it gets boring, right? We've been talking about this for years, but you can't fix Illinois without pension reform. And I've heard them all speak and talk about the different issues. There was one talk up in somewhere in the northwest suburbs, and the three candidates were together, and they didn't mention the word pensions. And so, and I understand why, right? There's a lot of politics involved in that, but at this point, if you can't honestly mention pensions as a problem, and run on pension reform, then you're just more of the same old, same old. I would say the good news is Darren Bailey has actually talked about pension reform, and he's talking about it the right way. I think he's talking about it's hurting everybody. Everybody's losing, and so he's actually leading on that effort. Where I think the other two have yet to figure out. Well, I think Schimpf says he doesn't want to reform pensions, so I'm not sure how that qualifies him. But I think that's the leader. You can't fix the budget. You can't keep people in the state. You can't stop this population decline we talked about if you don't address the pensions, because they're destroying every city budget, every taxpayer wallet, and the core services people need.
Not to mention home values. Ted Dabrowski, president of Wirepoints, wirepoints.org. Ted, thanks as always.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ted. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Check it out, Limu, a roadside carnival.
Step right up, folks. Test your strength. Come see the fire-breathing baby.
Let's fan out and tell people that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Look!